the best morning live.
Good morning, everybody. God bless. Hopefully, everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. As you're coming in on TikTok, make sure you guys tap the screen for me. Everybody also on YouTube, don't forget, you need to hit the like button just one time. Just one time, and we will be good to go. Anthony, good morning. Good to see you, bro. God bless. Mr. Jazza, good. God bless you. Adam, what's up, brother? God bless. Yomi, what's up? How are you? Jeff said he just made his coffee. God bless. God bless. Coffee's good. Coffee is good. Great way to start. Kalam, good morning, Habibi. Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Make sure you guys tap that screen for me so we can get some people in here. Had a great weekend. Big transition. Got a lot of busy week, guys. So pray for me. Pray for us. We got a lot of stuff going on. We have to... I am going to be away from home for 2 months for visiting family. We're going up north and spending the summer up there, my wife and I, with her family. But we will still be doing the morning lives. So pray for us because there's a lot of stuff I got to move, a lot of things we got to work on to get that over there. So stressful week, but it's going to be for the better. But thank you guys, everybody who has been supporting and all these things. We really appreciate you guys. But keep supporting us by leaving us in your prayers because a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff for work, a lot of stuff for content that we're working on. I've been working every day to start to make this transition on some content that I think you guys are going to love, but really excited for it. Bear, are you Middle Eastern? No, I am not Middle Eastern. No. Planet Middle Eastern. I may look Middle Eastern. I may say Arabic. I don't know. Some people say I pronounce it okay. I don't really know. But no, I am Hispanic. Definitely Hispanic. Care to share what your origins are? Yeah, I'm Hispanic. Colombian and Ecuadorian. Hefe, what's up? Good morning. God bless. OG. Hey, Barrett. I hope you had a good weekend. All is well too, chat. Yes, had a great weekend. Weekend was great. Mr. Bear, hello. How are you? Welcome. Was it Virgil? Is that how you say it? That's how you say it. You can handle it, Bear, sir. Yeah, no. We're going to be fine. I'm just saying, just pray for us because we definitely need it. These transitions are always stressful. My wife. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to shout out my wife every stream. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Sewing time. God bless. So anytime I saw you had a comment on the last stream that we were talking about, like Eastern Orthodoxy. You said you had a contention, like as far as like people waiting to be baptized, like a year to get catechized. The reason for that was the reason why that tradition's there so in time is because there were a lot of heresies in the early church, and people just wanted to make sure that if they're converting, they're being properly catechized or properly taught. So these are for converts, obviously, that are older. Now, if you grow up as an Orthodox Christian, you're baptized 40 days into living because they baptize babies, right? So, and then you're catechized by by the church and your parents, etc. But if you're converting, they want to make sure that this is something, an actual decision that's being made. So they're being brought into the church and taught and educated, just like the disciples were, right? They spent 3 years with Christ learning these things, and then obviously the church was then established. So, but in the Orthodox Church, if you are a catechumen, you are considered an Orthodox Christian right then and there. That is your conversion as soon as you become a catechumen. So if you were to die, during the time of your catechumen, then you will, you are considered saved. You are considered in the church, because it's not your fault that that happened before you can get baptized. So, afternoon, all. God bless. Afternoon. Good to see you. Yeah, big plans ahead. Like I said, super excited for certain things that are happening, guys. Hey, Jamie, I just read that. Bear, it's taken over a year, but my fiance finally believes Orthodoxy is the true truth. Wow, that's awesome. A year is actually not that bad, Jamie. I know that year probably seemed like torturous. But there's people that go years and then finally do that. So, Eastern Orthodox. That's awesome. God bless. That's amazing. I'm really, really happy for you. Bear is Arabic, Habibi. No, I'm not Arabic. Good morning, Dunamis from Germany. Big Carnage, what's up? Thank you, brother, for the super chat. What do you think of baptism sometimes costing with cash? That's a silly thing that people are bringing up online as far as baptism costing money. The sacrament itself doesn't cost money. What you're paying for is for the services that are being provided, and you're not obligated to pay for it. Even if you say, I'm not going to pay for it, they're still going to do it. They're just asking to be compensated for the cost of what's being done there, the services of the priest, the chanter, the everything that's being provided there, for people's time that are helping set things up, all of those things. Do Protestants feel like it's wrong to pay their pastor to go preach the gospel, like and evangelize? Of course not, right? If you're a Protestant and you don't even view the sacraments as being salvific, you think preaching the gospel and accepting the gospel is salvific, well, that would be essentially how we view the sacraments, right? So paying your pastor to go evangelize, or whatever the case is, right, would be, if you're going to complain about something like that, it would be, you have to be consistent and say that it's wrong to do that for your pastor too, right? So it's just a silly argument. It's just something people are trying to find right now on the internet, because there's a whole Protestant Orthodox beef online right now. They're just trying to find reasons to, do those things. Where do you get your icons? I got them different places, mostly my parish. But I think they get them from bostonmonks.com, if I'm not mistaken. That's where my parish gets the icons. So, and some were gifts like King David, that's up there, top left. That was a gift of my charismation, because that's my patron saint. I don't know where they got it from. I know they ordered it from somewhere. But anyways, James Avery, good morning. God bless. Good to see you. Inspired Ninja, good morning. Important you said that, W clarification. Yeah, I mean, we're not paying for that, you're not paying for the sacrament. Protestants all typically want 10 to 12% too, just like Ruslan's website said. Yeah, I mean, are we, who's complaining over the pastor being compensated, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with the pastor being compensated. If that's what he's doing full time, I just got a contention as to, my view of the church, but not necessarily that. If that's your view of the church and you believe that's correct, like, the pastor needs to be compensated. Otherwise, how is this person going to keep doing this? Just doesn't make sense. Bear, can you visit Mount Athos and stream it? That would be fire. I don't know if they will let me. If they would let me, I would definitely consider that for sure. Lambros, thank you for the money gun. Oh man, I keep forgetting to upload the new money gun song, man. Guys, I appreciate it. I'm sorry, but here it is. Thank you for the money gun, man. Appreciate you, man.
The best morning grind.
Thank you so much for the money gun Lambros. Appreciate you, gang. Appreciate it. Where are we at on the likes? 3.3K likes. Let's get to 10K TikTok. We got enough people in here. If we all contribute, get to 10K. We need multiple people contributing in order for this to count. I saw people recorded short clips on Mount Athos. I don't know about stream though. Yeah, I mean, like I imagine you're allowed to bring your phone and stuff like that. I mean, all those things, but I don't know what they would allow as far as like content creation, like over there and filming. I know some of the monks like to be private. I went to a monastery before, and even just taking a picture of a monk or whatever is like, ugh. Some of them want to be very private, and all those things. Is charging a fee for a salvific sacrament that they are mad over? Yeah. That's what they're just finding reasons to be upset with orthodoxy. People are being petty. That's all. Why is there all this ortho Protestants? Oh, because big influencers on YouTube are on both sides are arguing over it, accusing each other of things, and all these things. So that's why. So it's a trendy topic right now. Just like everything else is going to die out, and it's going to move on to the next topic. But for right now, being that this is what's going on, they are going to be petty and try to be right on both sides. Bear, visit monastery of Saint Saba outside Jerusalem in the desert. They allow video, I think. Oh, that's fire. I would love to go to Israel. I'd love to go there. You got anything convincing for EO? I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean. There's a 24/7 stream, I think, on Mount Athos. I didn't know that. I gotta look that up. You said it's on YouTube, I think. That's pretty dope. That's why we got to stay versatile. It's always a new topic. Yeah, there's always something that's being discussed at the moment, like always. So, we just gotta. I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna promise you guys I'm gonna respond to every topic that's being discussed. Like at least not directly. Maybe indirectly. I'll respond to things or whatever. I'll give you guys answers. But some of the stuff that happens on the internet, my wife and I, we discussed this a lot. Like I don't know if every single thing that goes on is worth addressing. Bear, you got your hoodie on the inside, bro. Yeah, I know. Thanks for telling me that. Appreciate that. But yeah, I don't know if every topic is worth addressing or getting involved in. Just hate division. I mean, look, Christ says he came to bring division, right? So one thing I will say is, and I think you guys have been following me enough, know this about me, is that I do believe that the Orthodox Church is the true church, and I think that's crucial for everybody, especially if right? Or especially if you at least have been presented the opportunity to know. I think that's big. I think there's a lot of people that really genuinely don't know anything about the Orthodox Church, and they have their beliefs, and that's why they're not convinced it's the true church, because they really just don't know, right? That's different. But if you're on the internet and you're, studying these things or whatever, and you're aware of the Orthodox Church, I think it's very important if you're in that position to really, really consider it, and really do your due diligence and your research, because it's very important. There is only one church that Christ established. Now, I believe obviously it's the Eastern Orthodox Church. Catholics will say it's their church, et cetera, right? Or Orientals. But you need to do your due diligence to figure that out, right? And I think that's crucial for everybody. And I want everybody to be Orthodox because I really do believe that this is the true church, and that's just my conviction, right? Does that mean I hate you if you're a Protestant or a Catholic or an Oriental Orthodox or no? Of course not. Does that mean I believe you're being condemned to hell if you're not Eastern Orthodox? I don't make that call. Maybe I'm not the judge. You know, I'm not even the judge to whether I'm going to be condemned to hell or not, right? I don't know. I hope not. Can Christ's grace reach beyond the Orthodox Church? Of course it can. Of course, God's grace can do that. Who will it do that to? I have no clue, man. I have no clue. So, you know, the Protestants get very upset when Orthodox make it a point to say this is the true church and just being very blunt and very straightforward. And I get that because as a Protestant, you know, Protestants love Jesus. They're zealous for Jesus. They believe in some of the fundamentals of who Jesus is, but it's a very shallow theology in Protestantism as far as the view of the church and as far as Christology. It's very, very shallow, it's not so much in depth. And the Orthodox and the Apostolics have a more in-depth ecclesiology and a more in-depth Christology. And that's why their position seems a little bit more harsh or a little bit more black and white because of that to a Protestant, and it seems offensive. But it's just their honest take, you know? So, you know, that's just kind of where it's at. Hey, Indian Christian, thank you so much, man. 5 gifted memberships of the YouTube. Appreciate that. 5 people got a free membership on YouTube. W Indian Christian 3207. If your name turned green and you didn't pay for that membership, you know it was Indian that just gave you that gift. You know, so appreciate that. Hey Bear, this is going to be the first thing we disagree on. What was it exactly? Which part, Nenny? That it's the true church, or let me know in the comments which part exactly. I know some Protestants who spend 24/7 praying, preaching, etc. I hope they get grace because they genuinely love Jesus. Yeah, of course. There's like who's to say, like, of course there are Protestants that love Jesus, you know? May the Lord have mercy, right? But I mean, being a part of his church is crucial to salvation. Absolutely crucial. You can't separate the church and Christ. It just wouldn't make sense. Like, it just theologically a contradiction.
Catholics are fake Christians.
Aren't you Muslim?
Catholics are fake Christians, bro.
Okay, I don't care what you think about that. What do you want?
They are the one who killed Protestants.
What do you want?
They worship Mary.
All right, bro, get out of here. Anyways, a Muslim coming up to say that. Can you imagine the irony? That the Orthodox Church holds the keys to salvation. I don't think being Orthodox is a salvific issue. Yeah, so here's the thing, Danny. The question is this, okay? Is the church, and by the way, this is the next piece of content that I'm making, and I, you know, what I'm about to explain, I'm not gonna go too in depth, but in the video that I'm gonna release, it will go more in depth. But the question is, like, if the church is the body of Christ, and according to Christ, he is divine, and you must abide in him, right? There's all this imagery, and I think it's John chapter 15. There's this imagery that you must be in Christ, and if you're not, you'll cut off, right? And if you're cut off, you'll burn away. Paul uses the same imagery in Romans chapter 11, right? So if being in Christ and the way you go in Christ, or the way you put on Christ, according to the Bible, is baptism, and that's how you get circumcised and how you get grafted in. And then in order to remain in him, you must follow his commandments. You must repent and you partake in the sacraments is how obviously we would interpret it, et cetera, et cetera. So the church, being a part of the church, is essential for salvation. Now, if being a part of the church is essential to salvation and there's only one church, then that means there is a church that is established by Christ that is true. Now, the hard part is, which one is it, right? Well, one thing we know for sure, okay, whatever we have as far as Protestantism is concerned, that's not what we see in the first 3 centuries, right? So it's got to be an apostolic tradition, because that's what it was for the first 1,000 years, consistently. So then it's got to be one of the 3 branches of apostolic Christianity, and then that's where you have to do your due diligence. So it's very important. You got to be a part of the true church. I don't know, Easy or Ez, I don't know if that's how you say your name. Ez, Easy, what's up? You're live.
Yo, fuck Islam. Fuck Islam.
All right, bro, get out of here. Guys, stop trolling, man. We got a Muslim troll, and now we have a Christian troll. Like, please stop. Like, not interested in the trolling, man. Just come up and have a discussion. Yeah, the gates of Hades will not prevail. I think that's what you're trying to say, OG. I know sometimes the chat does these autocorrects. The gates of Hades won't prevail against the Church of Christ. So yeah, I mean, being a part of the body of Christ is the effect of salvation. You're saved by faith. See, Spirit Wind, that's where, and this is where it gets touchy, right? The way a Protestant would view what you just said, they would agree with you, but it's just theologically, like, these terms that are being assumed here in your statements, as far as the body of Christ, as far as how the effect of salvation, faith, just those 3 things alone, it's loaded with presumptions that we just don't agree with, right? You're using terminology in a way that's just not consistent with the history of the church. And this is where Protestants and Orthodox start talking past each other, right? When a Protestant uses the word faith, they mean that differently than an apostolic Christian. Even to a Messianic Jew, right? Even to a Jew, the Jew is going to agree with the term of how the word faith is being used with an apostolic Christian, not with a Protestant, right? Faith to a Protestant is just this like feeling or thought in your head that's consistent. I believe Jesus is the Son of God, he died for my sins, and that's it. So like a transaction through thoughts. And it's just not what the Bible, it's just not consistent with the Bible. Because why is it that the Bible constantly warns and says that you could be cut off if certain things happen, So, that's where we're at. Let's see. Try Banks, what's up?
What's up? I'm in your Discord. I have a genuine question. I heard you talking about apostolic church.
Yeah. Are you an apostolic Christian?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Grew up in. Yeah, I can hear you. It's a little bit of delay on my end, I think. I grew up in Norway, so I grew up Protestant. I now live in a majority Orthodox Christian country. I moved here recently, trying to discover more about Christianity myself.
Okay.
And so my main issue is the claim that the Catholics and the Orthodox make before the split. So I'm leaning toward Orthodoxy, but the claim with Peter that the Catholics make, how do you refute that, or how do you reconcile that Peter is not the first pope? He is the first pope, but he is like how do you reconcile that he's not true leader after Christ?
Yeah, you just got to look at the and TikTok. I forgot I had something on the settings. Okay, good, it got fixed. All right, yeah, I had something on the settings from the other stream the other night. Okay, cool, that should be better. Yeah, you just got to look at the consistency of how the church looked at it, right? So the church, it is true that the church held Rome at a high regard, at a special regard, because Rome was the center of the empire, and when the church was finally legalized, the empire took on the church, and we relied on the emperor, first being Constantine, in order to use the resources of the empire in order to establish the church a little bit more organized, right? Because beforehand, the church, even though it was as organized as it can be, it was very difficult to remain organized because we were being persecuted, right? People were being unalived and all these things. So when the church was established and we had a bishop in Rome that was established by Peter, we hold Rome to a high regard. But if you look at history, Constantinople was then also held at a high regard. It was considered like the new Rome or the second Rome, right?
Can I just ask one question before?
Go ahead.
Will you upload this on YouTube? Because
It
I
goes.
would like to.
My lives get recorded, so you can just go back on the live and listen to it again.
That's good, because I would like to write down as much as possible.
No problem.
Doing my whole point when I was moving here was because I wanted to get into apostolic, or I wanted to get into apologetics, because severe Muslim immigration in Norway right now, and I want to be able to defend the true God, and I feel like I have to dig deep in myself knowledge before I can start questioning other people's knowledge.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so what I was saying was, it is true that Rome is held at a high regard. Every bishop in every jurisdiction is held at a high regard, but Rome especially, because of the prominence of Rome and the power of Rome to be able to influence the empire, because it's the capital, the headquarters of the entire empire, right? So that's historically, that's what we see consistently as to the reason for it, etc. What we don't see consistently is that the Pope, in any way, shape, or form, can make infallible decisions, just like Vatican I would establish. We don't see Vatican I papacy, is what we don't see. We do see that the Pope is held at a high regard, but just not at the level that Vatican I is established. And that's where the disagreement comes into play, because
the
Pope does not have the authority to override an ecumenical council and be able to make decisions on his own without the rest of the bishops, right? And that's where the disagreement comes. So there's no contention that, like I said, that Rome was held at a high regard through Orthodox. We agree with that, and you'll see church fathers that we believe are church fathers, that are Eastern church fathers, that will say things like they're holding Rome at a high regard, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not going to be consistent with what Vatican I has established with the papacy.
Okay, yeah, because I did get into not a dispute, but I was arguing with a Catholic guy here. Well, not arguing. I was kind of trying to find his consensus as why is Rome or the Catholic Church the right apostolic church, and my main issue is the way they hold the Pope to. He has he can rule over the councils, and thanth you for explaining it.
Yeah, and
so I get the
to be fair, like bishops, like in the first 1,000 years, like the Pope, right? They can rule over councils. Like we have other bishops from other jurisdictions, right? That rule over councils as well. I think Saint Cyril was ruling over the Council of Ephesus, right? So we see that they do have the authority to do that. It's just, like I said, it becomes a blurred line when we're starting to look at it. Like they try to blur the line into looking at, well, the Pope had a higher regard, and then all of a sudden that concludes that they were able to make infallible decisions on their own. That's a huge leap, but a lot of the arguments that the Catholics will bring will allude to that, and they'll be very convincing too. Because they're bringing quotes from church fathers. They're kind of compiling an argument together with quotes and different councils and decisions that were made that appear to be that way. But obviously, as an Orthodox, we would say that it's just there'll be arguments against whatever they present and say that's not the case. It's a misunderstanding or out of context or whatever the case is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome, brother. Yeah, good luck on your journey. Let me know how it goes. You said you're on my Discord, so just tag me. Let me know how it goes.
Of course, I will. Thanks you.
For brother. God bless.
Go.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see what we got. Guys, don't forget also, we had a great stream last night, birthday stream with my beautiful wife. Make sure you guys hit a sub to her channel. Make sure you guys hit her a follow as well on TikTok. She is tagged in every one of my videos, so easy to find her. And then obviously she is tagged in every one of my descriptions here on the live on YouTube. So make sure you hit her a sub and a follow on TikTok if you can. Apollo, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay, so when you say that Islam is not logical, what do you mean by logical here?
There's contradictions in what you guys believe, like foundationally.
Foundationally, like would you give me like what example of like a foundational contradiction?
Like foundational would mean like just some of the fundamentals of your beliefs. So for example, like it's fundamental for you as a Muslim to believe that Muhammad is consistent with the previous prophets, correct?
Consistent, yeah.
Okay. How do we verify that he was consistent with the previous prophets?
Well, we can verify that he is consistent with the previous prophets by utilizing an absence of contradiction. So, of course, if you reflect
by utilizing what? I'm sorry?
An absence of contradiction. So, it is more expected under the hypothesis that he's consistent with the previous prophets that we're not observing the contradictions. So, prima facie would be justified in believing in that.
Bro, I have no idea what you just said. What it sounds like you said.
What are you talking about?
What it sounds like you just said, if you allow me to finish. What it sounds like you just said was, yeah, we would just say he is consistent, that he's consistent with the previous prophets because we just can observe and just see that he's consistent with the previous prophets. Is that what you just said?
No, that's not what I just said. Okay. So I'm appealing to the fact that when you look towards the data, there's no contradiction.
There's no contradiction.
Do you know what it means to be prima facie?
Yeah, just by plainly observing. Yeah.
Yep, that's going to be one piece of evidence. You asked me how you can justify the claim, right? That's abductive evidence.
No, Apollo, Apollo. How can I verify that that he's consistent with the previous prophets? Is that verifiable?
Yep. Do you know what abductive reason is?
How is that verifiable?
I just gave you how. Do you know what abductive proof is?
Can you demonstrate to me how verify that he's consistent with the previous prophets?
I just told you how. I'm asking you, do you know what abductive proof is?
Okay, it doesn't matter whether I know abductive proof is or not. Can you demonstrate? Can you demonstrate? Can you demonstrate? And guys, this is why when I looked into Islam years ago, this is why I don't believe in it, because every conversation turns this way. Can you demonstrate how he's consistent with the previous prophets? Can you just do that for me, please?
So we have hypothesis X, which states he's consistent with the previous prophets. That hypothesis would expect that when you look towards the relevant data, we do not see a contradiction.
Okay,
when you look towards the relevant data, we don't see a contradiction.
Can you demonstrate how Muhammad is consistent with the previous prophets? Can you just show me that proof, please?
I just demonstrated that. So
you did not demonstrate. You did not demonstrate that, dude.
What type of evidence did I demonstrate?
Yeah. So I'm asking for something specific.
I gave abductive justification.
I'm asking for something specific. Is there a way for me is there a way for me, for example, is there a way for me to go look at the previous prophets and verify that Muhammad is consistent with them? Is there a possible way to do that?
Yes, there is.
Okay,
What's your name, by the way?
How is that? How can I do that?
Okay. So just to be clear, before I respond one more time,
you're
asking me, What you're asking me, don't crash out. Just calm down. What you're
I'm just,
asking me,
I cannot
how can you
believe that.
possibly?
I'm just,
How
I
can-
cannot
just let
believe
me
the,
finish.
I cannot believe the
Okay, you're
dishonesty.
panicking.
I cannot believe the dishonesty. No, it
You're the
has
only
not.
person being dishonest, or
Listen,
maybe just ignorant.
Listen, brother. I'm asking for something specific. Can you provide it or not? It's just yes or no.
You're asking for verification, correct?
I'm
Proof?
asking for something specific. So
Yes or
listen
no?
closely. Listen closely to what I'm asking
Okay,
for.
answer the question.
Apollo, listen to what I'm asking for.
Bro,
Is
why
there a
did
way?
you-
Is there a way for me to go to the previous prophets and verify that Muhammad is consistent with them? Yes or no?
Yes, there is.
Good. How can I do that?
Through abductive evidence. There
Okay.
you go.
What abductive evidence would you use in order to verify that the prophets and their message was consistent with Muhammad's?
Based on the absence of logical contradiction. all else being
Brother,
equal.
based on the absence of the logical contradiction, the way you would demonstrate
All
that
else
there's
being
an
equal.
absence of a contradiction is by showing me what the prophets were teaching and showing
No.
that there's not a contradiction with
You're wrong.
Muhammad. Okay, they're
That's
wrong. So
incorrect.
how would you demonstrate what the prophets were teaching is consistent with Muhammad?
So here's one example, right? So what the prophet teaches, here's one example. What the prophet teaches is to worship 5 times. That is not inconsistent with, for example, a teaching of Moses specifically in the Torah.
You said
or a
worship
specific teaching
5
from
times?
Yeah, the prophet specifically encourages to worship Allah. What are you talking about?
You said worship 5 times. Did you not say that?
Yeah, you don't think that's something which is encouraged by the prophet?
Where? Show me. Show me where Moses demonstrates this.
Are you okay? I'm talking about the prophet.
Is Moses a prophet that you're talking about?
I'm saying the prophet, as in Muhammad.
No, I'm talking.
Encourages it.
My question. Okay, maybe this
It
is where you're
doesn't
not
logically
understanding.
contradict.
Let me be clear. I don't think you're okay. I want to know where
I'm
the
completely
teachings of the prophets are consistent with Muhammad's.
Do you know what it means for something to be consistent?
Yes. And can you demonstrate
Okay,
something
so-
of the? Can you show me where the previous
Maybe
prophets?
someone
Can you
called
show
you?
me one thing? I'm
You're lost.
You're not answering my question. This is the part that's
You're
frustrating.
confused in the conversation.
Yeah, I think you're the one that's confused, brother. Because follow me closely. Because I'm
Saying
gonna ask
nah
you.
is not an argument.
Be quiet, please. Now I'm gonna have to start muting you until you answer this freaking question, dude. Is there anything? Show me one teaching of the previous prophets that is consistent with Muhammad's. Just one. Show me one thing. Let's
I
keep
just
it
gave
super
you one
simple.
thing.
Okay, good. What was
Gave
the
you
one
one.
thing? Repeat it again. You said worship 5 times.
Doesn't contradict anything Moses
Good.
said.
Very good. Show me where Moses taught to worship 5 times, please.
Are you an idiot? I'm saying it doesn't contradict, not that Moses said this.
Okay, show me where Moses said anything.
I never said Moses said that we should pray 5 times.
I don't care.
I'm saying
Show me.
praying 5
listen
times
to
is
the-
consistent
I think
with what
you're.
Moses said.
I think you're confused.
I think
brother.
you're an idiot who
I
doesn't know-
think you're confused, and this is where
There's
this
a
is where the
difference
crash out
between
happens.
consistency.
Show me
Yeah, you're
where.
crashing out right.
Show me where Moses said anything, Apollo. Show
Holy
me.
crap.
Show me where.
I'm saying
Here,
there's
let
a
me. I'm gonna drop you
consistency.
since you're crashing out right now. I'm gonna drop you. You can come back up. So notice, chat, what he just said. That it's consistent. It's not a contradiction to anything Moses said. That means there's an assumption we have of something Moses said. Okay, Apollo, answer this question. Show me where Moses said anything. Show me where he said anything. Where can we find what Moses said?
I never said Moses said we should pray 5 times. It's irrelevant to the
I didn't.
question.
That's not my question. You're not listening. That's fine. I
I'm
know
listening
you
to what
didn't
you're
say
saying.
that.
It's
I
irrelevant to my
know
point.
you didn't say that. You're
I know I
confused
do.
right now. You're an idiot.
You have a single digit IQ score. Oh my God,
Get
dude.
the hell out of here. And this is why Islam is illogical. Because notice, he is not a contradiction. And nothing that Muhammad says is a contradiction to what Moses said. Where do we find what Moses said? He doesn't want to answer that question. Because he has to say something like the Bible. And then now this begs the question, why are we looking in the Bible? Do you take this as going to be a reliable source as to anything Moses said? And this is why it's illogical. It's insane, dude. Absolutely insane. But remember, I was the one that was crashing out, right? I was the one. Holy crap. What's up?
Yeah, well,
This morning,
What's up?
you're probably the 30th insecure Christian
By the way,
to
there's
do
an
a
echo.
live.
There's a really bad echo.
You're probably the 30th insecure Christian.
Anyway, you gotta fix that, brother. I gotta drop you. You sound like you're gonna be a troll anyway. What's up?
Hello? Bro, just one question. Why do not accept Prophet Muhammad as a prophet? What's your main reason? I don't get it.
Because he's not consistent with the previous prophets.
Can you explain what you mean especially?
When I read the writings of the previous prophets, it's just not consistent with what he teaches.
Like, we believe every prophet teaches the same thing. It is pray to the one and only God. Every prophet teaches it. Even Jesus teaches this. So, what do you mean?
Well, where do you learn what the previous prophets taught?
In hadith, in our hadith,
I don't accept
especially,
hadiths, brother.
they are the most, and in the Quran.
Did the prophets write hadiths?
The hadith were given from God to our prophet, so he can say it to the people.
Brother, I said, did the previous prophets write hadiths?
No.
Okay.
They had
So
their own.
I don't know what hadiths.
Like
Okay, good. Where do I
hadith,
find
it
these
means
writings?
in Arabic just speech, something like
Good,
speech.
good. Where do I find the hadiths of the previous prophets?
Why you cares? Prophet Muhammad is the last you have to follow. We don't follow Moses' rules. We don't follow these rules. They are expired.
Amir, you asked me.
Yes.
You asked me why do I think it's illogical? I said this because he's not consistent with the previous prophets. He's not teaching the
Yeah,
same
bro,
thing.
but
the previous
not every
prophets.
prophet.
Listen
not every
closely,
prophet teaches
please.
the same rules.
Amir, listen closely, please. When it
Okay,
comes
okay,
to
fine.
you asked me why do I deny this? Is because Prophet Muhammad is not consistent with the previous prophets. Now, when we look into the previous prophets and I read the previous prophets, I see that it's not the same. You believe it is the same. You believe it's consistent.
But bro, Jesus is not the same as Moses too. Like, what are you talking
No,
about?
Amir, the teachings. You got to follow what I'm saying, dude. I don't know if this is a language barrier or what.
What Moses teaches, what Muhammad don't teach.
Where do we read? Where do we read what Moses teaches?
Our prophet told us about the hadith
What hadith?
that he tells to the people.
Who?
He tells in
Who's
some
he?
hadith what? Yeah, Prophet Muhammad.
Okay, I don't believe in your prophet. So I want to know, in order for me to believe your prophet, it would help me if you can prove that Moses was consistent with Muhammad or Muhammad was consistent with Moses. Where can I verify? Where can I see Moses' teachings in order to verify that?
In the Old Testament, but not everything that there is right there is 100% right, but it's more right than the New Testament.
How do we objectively?
Obvious.
Okay, good. How do we objectively clarify what is true and what's not in the Old Testament?
Everything that is against God, like don't worship the one and only God, is 100% false, and the things that don't match with the Quran.
Yeah. So I don't accept your Quran. So this will be circular, brother.
That's my question. Why you don't accept it?
This is why, because you can't verify that Muhammad is consistent with the previous prophets.
Yeah, bro, that same logic can be on the New Testament too. Like, why so many Jews don't believe in Christ?
Because they believe in something that came after Jesus, which is called the Talmud.
After Jesus?
The Talmud, yes.
What? I thought they believe in the Old Testament only, like the Torah.
Yeah, and the Talmud is the interpretation of that, and the Talmud came after.
They believe in that?
Yes, bro.
Okay, bro, but like it's for me, it's not the reason, because Prophet Muhammad came and tell us the Bible like people wrote something on their own minds on the Bible in the New Testament, and we can see historically that the Bible is not 100% that sure what it says. Sorry, my English is not that perfect. I live in Germany.
It's okay.
But you
So-
understand, like he tells the Bible is corrupted,
Yeah, yeah.
and we can historically see
How
many
can you know?
things
How
are.
can you know anything that you agree with in the Old Testament? How can you know that those verses are not corrupted?
Why are you asking the Old Testament specifically?
All right, Amir. I think there's a language barrier, brother. I don't think you're really tracking because you don't speak English. So I'm just gonna drop you, bro. Have a good day. You're not tracking the conversation. It's like the fact that you asked why does it need to be the Old
Hello?
Testament is insane to me. What's up?
Am I clear? Yeah, what's up? So I just saw your prompt and it says Islam is not logical, and I'm just wondering for your justification for it.
Are you Muslim?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So I don't believe that Muhammad is consistent with the previous prophets.
The previous prophets, and what previous prophets are you referring to in specific? I just want to know exactly your position.
Any ones that you guys accept.
I mean, yeah, I get that. So for example, Jesus, Moses, etc. So you think they're not consistent? Do you use their books as the basis for that?
Well, I'm asking, what does Islam use to verify whether he's consistent with the previous prophets or not?
I mean, we don't need to do that. I think if we verify the truth of the Quran, then by default, we can just verify the rest of the previous ones, correct?
Well, in order to verify the truth of the Quran, then we would need to be able to verify this claim that he's consistent with the previous prophets, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so
you
how do
obviously are aware, this is...
So you just said
Hold
yes.
on.
So you just said yes. So then how do we verify this?
Okay, let me explain to you something. So obviously you are aware of the Muslim position that the books and revelations of the previous prophets have been corrupted, lost in translation, lost in meaning, correct?
According to you guys, yeah.
Yeah, so if we do that, and your position is that Islam is not logical because of the fact that when you read these books, you're like, hey, this is not consistent with the other position, or Islam, therefore this one's contradictory. That's not really a contradictory position, given that we have this belief. You may not accept it, but you can't posit it's a contradiction, correct?
It's not a contradiction in your paradigm. But the problem...
Okay, so you just concede right there. That's not, it's logical.
But no, that's not a concession, brother. It's not.
It's a blatant concession.
In your paradigm, for example, if in your paradigm the Quran is the word of God, therefore I can use the Quran to see what the previous prophets said or didn't say, and know what parts are corrupted and not corrupted. In your paradigm, assuming that the Quran is from God, I don't see a contradiction in that. The problem is you need to verify that this Quran is from God. You need to be able to verify that Muhammad is consistent with the previous prophets. So my question is very specific. Is there a way to verify Muhammad's consistency with the previous prophets? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Verify his consistency with the previous prophets?
Yes. Is there a way to
I don't
verify?
think we need to do that because
I don't care what you.
The
I don't care
revelations
what you.
Hold on, one second.
I don't care
One
what
second.
you
One second. I'll explain to you why.
Hold on, brother. Hold on.
This is loaded.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. I don't
Okay,
care what you
sure.
believe, what your opinion is. If you don't believe, you need to, as a Muslim, be able to verify what if he's consistent with the previous prophets or not. You just believe it out of blind faith. That's your problem.
That's not the
my
claim.
question.
That's not the claim.
My question is very specific. Is it possible? Is it possible? I don't care about your feelings or what you think you can or can't do. Is it possible to verify that Muhammad is consistent with the previous prophets? Yes or no?
But we don't have the revelations of the previous prophets, so how can we verify
So
it?
is the answer no?
The answer is that you're asking me to
So
verify
is the
something that
answer
doesn't
no?
exist.
Is the answer no?
If it's the case that the Quran is true, then we just verify by default.
No, is the answer no? That there's not a way to verify that Muhammad's consistent with the previous prophets?
There is a way. There is a way.
So then why do you keep saying that? Why do you keep asking
Because
me to go
every
to something
single
that
time.
doesn't
Okay,
exist?
can I explain it to you? Can I explain it to you without you cutting me off and brushing it over? The claim is that if it's the case that I verify that the Quran is true, by default, it also affirms the revelations of the other prophets. Therefore, by definition, that'll be true. Correct? That's all I need to do to you. I just need to verify the truth of the Quran. That's it.
Okay.
I don't need to go compare these past revelations because those past revelations don't exist.
Okay. So you do it. Okay. Let's move into you proving the Quran to be true. But
Sure.
let me ask you this, just to clarify before we go on. You do concede that there's not, besides assuming the Quran to be true, there is no other way to verify whether he's consistent with the previous prophets.
This isn't a concession, though.
Can you I gave you a concession earlier that you said, "Oh, that's a concession."
Okay.
I said it's
Okay.
logical through your paradigm that if the Quran is the word of God, that everything else is going to be true. I granted that to you. Do you at least
Okay,
grant
sure.
me? Do you at least
All right,
grant
that's
me
fine. For the
that
sake of the
without?
conversation, yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now how can
Okay,
you
go.
prove to me that the Quran is from God?
We have synthetic, verifiable prophetic miracles that allow us to prove the existence of the Quran.
How does that prove it's from God?
It proves it's from God because we posit that the Prophet has a posteriori knowledge or external knowledge that he did not access to experience, and therefore it has to be some supernatural event that allowed him to gain that knowledge.
Okay, great. I'll grant you that. Why does that now mean definitively that it can only come from God?
Because it fits the hypothesis better than other competitors. So, for example,
really?
yeah.
Okay,
So, for example,
like what other
when-
competitors?
like for example, saying that he just got it by chance, or saying that some random alien gave it to him. For example,
Random alien? What are you talking about?
Let me explain to you. I feel like you're lost in the sauce. I'm saying that
I'm the one that's
the
lost in the
prophet makes these miracles or makes these propositions. Oh, like this thing is going to happen. Very specific miracles. You're saying, how does that prove God's existence? Correct?
No. How does that prove that this information came from God?
What are you talking about? It's evidence that there's some supernatural event. I'm confused what you're asking me.
Every supernatural event has to come from God?
I think so, yeah.
Really? Okay, good. So when the Dajjal does miracles, a supernatural thing, does that come from God?
Who gives him the power?
Does it come from
Is it not
God
supposed from God?
when the Dajjal does it? Is that God doing it?
It's God sourcing him.
Fine.
He's not doing the action.
So it comes from God.
The Dajjal's powers come from God, yeah. Like what?
Okay, so
this isn't the gotcha that you think it is. Like this isn't crazy.
Hold on. So when the Dajjal does a miracle to deceive people into thinking he's God, that's from God?
The powers are from God, yeah.
Fine. The powers, everything is from God. If God created everything, but the action itself, does that come from God?
The action's the Dajjal's action, but the action's created by God. We know this is
okay. So God is participating in the deception, is what you're saying.
God is testing humanity's faith. Something that's
God is participating in the deception.
Participating in the deception. That's just a loaded proposition. No.
What do you mean? All you got to do is say yes or no. You said no, he's not participating.
I already answered it.
Okay, good. So the Dajjal is the one committing the action, correct?
Sure, but the supernatural powers are sourced from God.
So the action itself does not come from God. It comes from the Dajjal, correct?
The action itself is made by the Dajjal, sure.
Thank you. So a supernatural action does not only have to come from God, right?
But you missed the point. Right? It's sourced by God.
That's fine. Yes or no?
Okay,
a supernatural action does not need to only come from God. Yes or no?
Okay, so are you
yes or no?
No, like I already explained this to you.
So then who commits the action of the Dajjal then?
The commits the action. Obviously the Dajjal commits the action, but the supernatural phenomena are sourced by God.
Brother, you can say that till you're blue in the face. At the end of the day, you're missing the point. The point is that every supernatural action does not need to come from God. If it's possible that it comes from someone else, then you cannot say, oh, look, miracles in the Quran. Hold on, bro, because I need you to track. You're lost in the sauce right now.
Okay.
You're lost in the sauce. You're lost in the sauce. Focus. Dial in.
I'm
listen.
Cool.
Okay. Listen. Mute up real quick so I know you're listening. Thank you. So if there's an action that is a supernatural action that does not come from God, if it's possible, then it's possible that the Quran's miracles and supernatural stuff can also not come from God. The burden of proof is not going to fall on you on how to increase the probability that these supernatural actions in the Quran have to come from God. Go ahead.
Okay, so I feel like immediately you're already like kind of granting the supernatural nature of it. You're not even denying that. You're just denying the source of it.
I don't deny it.
Okay, cool. So I'm glad that you grant that the Quran has supernatural events in it. Just for chat, so that's what he believes and affirms. So to continue there, you're just denying the fact that it comes from God. But the issue is that I'm saying that
I'm asking you to prove that it comes from God.
Yeah, it's more likely or abductively given that it fits the nature and qualitative properties of God.
How can I verify what you just said? What fits the properties of
God?
I'll
give you an example. if for example, we have a room, right? And all these in this room, there's 30 people who pray to like this red guy, and they say, I hope this person in room 30 dies in exactly 27 seconds. And then the guy dies in exactly 27 seconds. And you know for a fact there's like no like thing they set up earlier or something like that. It's probably the case that this red god or like this red entity had something to do with it, given that it fits the nature and criteria of this entity. If it's the case that it was from a demon or some other entity, there would be some added assumptions there, which would make it less likely to be true than just God.
This is all. None of that stuff made sense, dude. What is the evidence that you have for the Quran that would tell
I
us
already
that
gave you
these?
the evidence.
No, you didn't. You just gave some ad hoc example. Can you tell
No,
me? Can you
oh
demonstrate
my
to
God.
me? Can you show me evidence that these miracles from the Quran are from God, or at least evidence that increase the probability that it's from God?
Yeah, I demonstrated to you that through parsimony.
What?
I demonstrated that to you through parsimony.
How?
Do you know what that means?
No.
Is there a language barrier or no?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, you don't know what that means. Okay, all parsimony says is that when a theory or hypothesis is simpler, when there's no evidence for either side, the simpler one is more likely, given that there's less properties or less entities in it that could be wrong. Do you understand? Are you fine with that?
No, dude, because I'm not going to grant you the assumption that these miracles are going to fit with God's nature. You need to provide the criteria for that.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I mean that you can put that into question, but I'm glad you're finally putting that into question. So if it's the case that God's properties or the way God is defined in the Quran is that he's an entity trying to instate truth and revelation, and the prophet is trying to use a manner of truth and revelation to reveal these miracles, and you already conceded that these supernatural events exist, it is probably the case that they align with an entity trying to reveal truth and revelations. If it's the case that you're trying to say there's some other entity who's trying to deceive us, that's just an extra assumption that requires extra evidence.
No, Suzu,
and therefore it's less likely.
No, because first of all, you gave a criteria from the Quran. That would be circular, bro. There would need to be a criteria that we can compare to that's going to be external to the Quran in order to be consistent and not circular.
About God?
Yes. Where do you get your criteria
Definition?
where do you get your criteria that the miracles are in line with God? Like, what's the criteria that of something that's going to be in line with God? What would be that criteria?
I mean, the miracles, you don't need to use the Quran. You just look at the world and see, oh, this thing happened like he said it would. That's all I need.
Okay, so when a fortune teller does the same thing, that means it came from God too?
I don't think the fortune teller makes accurate prophecies. They're not specific. They're not accurate. Like,
how do you know this?
Fortune tellers are not, because they're scammers. I mean, you can tell me about
how do you know? Wait, how do you know that fortune tellers are 100% wrong all the time?
I mean, we can synthetically verify it in the world. We can look at what the fortune teller says.
In the world. How? Yeah. So fortune tellers have been around since probably the majority of human history. So
and they've all been seen as scammers and liars?
No, they haven't. They have not all been looked at as scammers or liars. No. People have taken them seriously in human history. People,
I'm aware that people have uneducated individuals.
There have been kings that have kept them around to advance their kingdom.
I'm aware that kings have been uneducated. That's fine.
What are you talking about? Wait, where do you get that kings were wrong about keeping these people around? Where do you get this from?
Because, wait, so do you think that these fortune tellers do magic or something like that? Like, just for a quick question.
You don't think Satan can do things that are supernatural?
That's not what I asked you. Don't dodge the question.
Well,
so are you saying that these supernatural entities? Hold on. Do you think these supernatural entities call on Satan?
The reason why I'm asking you this is because your question assumes that no one else can do supernatural things other than God, even though you conceded earlier that the Dajjal does actions that are supernatural.
That wasn't my claim at all.
Okay, no, I know that's not your claim, but your question has that presumption in it.
No, it doesn't.
No. Okay, so what is how can you?
I'll explain it to you again. I'm saying that the reason why it's more likely to be God is because these other supernatural entities would assume some extra intentions, which makes it by default less likely.
How does this thing?
Is that my time up? Or?
No, it's just TikTok live stream does this stupid sound out of nowhere.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Okay, so, I mean, it was my claim. I was reiterating to you. I'm saying that if there's an other entity who is behind these revelations, it would imply some other form of intentionality. Like, let's say if it was Satan behind it, it implies some other form of intentionality, like deception, which is less likely given the extra assumptions. So if that is the case, the burden would be on you to prove those extra assumptions. Otherwise, it's more likely to just correlate it with God's intentionality.
No, you're misunderstanding where I'm coming from. So you're claiming that because these are miracles in the Quran or prophecies or whatever you want to list, okay? You're saying that because these are supernatural, then the assumption is going to be, or the conclusion is going to be, that this comes from God. Now, what I'm contesting to is what your assumption of the probability of this being God. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not saying that supernatural evidence is not going to point towards God or have the possibility of being God. Okay? It is possible that miracles and prophecies come from God. It could be used as evidence. However, the evidence is going to either increase the certainty or the probability of something. Right? Okay. So now, if I present to you a possibility of the contrary, I'm not making the positive claim that it is these things. The reason why I'm presenting this is for you to provide more evidence in order to increase the probability of what you are claiming.
Okay. I'll explain it to you again because I feel like you're not understanding something very important. So I'm aware that you're not claiming like positively, you're making the assertion that this is the case, but you're still making a hypothesis and I can analyze the contents of it. So for example, let me give you two hypotheses, right? Person one is wearing a blue shirt. Person two is wearing a blue shirt and red pants. Just looking at both of them with no evidence, you would say the person wearing a blue shirt is probably the more likely hypothesis. Do you know why? Because there's less added assumptions. You're also needing to go the extra mile to assume the other hypothesis, the person is wearing the red pants. So do you understand why like having more commitments is probably less likely because there's a possibility of the red pants being wrong? Similarly, right, you're saying that hypothesis one, there's God who's like making these revelations, or two, there's some other supernatural identified entity who's making these revelations plus with extra intentions to lie. Given these extra properties or extra things, it is probably more likely that the first hypothesis is true given the simplicity of it.
Yeah, Costa, you hit it on the nail, and a lot of the people on YouTube are hitting on the nail. So because it sounds simple, it means it's true. Brother, what you just told me right now was I'm going to go with whatever my feelings make me feel like is true. Because
no, that's something that philosophers have been claiming for years. Are you familiar with Occam's razor?
Yes, I am. If I evaluate this, right, you're saying that the simplest explanation is going to be true. But what you see as simple may not be the case for someone else. Would you agree?
That's fine, but I gave you the justification why it's simple. I already gave you the extra assumptions.
So you concede that whether it's simple or not is subjective, correct?
Not necessarily, no. This is something that philosophers have been arguing on for years.
It's for me the most simple example, the most simple explanation for all of this that is the Quran came from Satan. What would be the refutation for you on that?
Again, for one, the refutation is that again, I already gave you this in the example I gave you, which is that you have these extra assumptions and these extra properties of lying. And by the way, this isn't some brand new concept that I'm bringing to you. Occam's razor and other philosophical forms of parsimony have been around for like a really long period of time.
I don't care. I'm using it right now. Okay. The most simple example is I read the Quran, which I did, and I see that it has things that Muhammad could have known. I think the most simple example is that the most simple explanation is that it came from Satan. Okay. How would you refute that?
So your belief is that your belief is that it came from Satan.
Just because that's the most simple explanation.
One, the prophet directly condemns and opposes Satan and also does exorcisms to release demons. I don't see how like it would be the case that
if Satan wants to deceive people into believing that he is God, of course he's going to say and do and enact these things in order to convince people he's
by condemning himself. He's trying to get people to worship him by condemning himself.
Is Satan his name?
Satan, his name in Arabic is Shaitan, or like that's his title.
Iblis.
Sure, that's fine.
Satan just means adversary.
Okay.
So who's the adversary of Satan?
I mean God, correct?
Thank
Obviously.
you. So
Like,
if in Arabic he is saying, I condemn my adversary, he's condemning God. So that's going to be the most
but
simple
he also
explanation.
condemns Iblis by
That's
name.
going
Like
to,
this is confusing.
yeah, well, who, how do you know his name is even Iblis?
That's what I'm talking about. This is not simple at all. Can you really sit here and say it's simple? Oh, he's denying his own name. He's not even affirming his
Put a
own
one
name.
in the chat, guys. If you believe what I just said is very simple. Put a
Put
one in the chat.
Put one in the chat for the biased Christian individuals who believe.
Wait. So now you do agree.
Hold on.
Wait. You are so dense in the head. You don't even realize what I'm doing. I don't agree with this level of argumentation.
It's not. Hold on. It's not subjective.
Listen to what you just said.
Okay, I'm
using what you're using as an argument back to my questions. I don't agree with this level of argumentation, but I'm using it to you. And notice what you just said. Oh, yes, the biased Christians in the chat put one. Yes, it's going to be biased because whether or not this is a simple explanation is going to be subjective to the person.
That's not true. I'll explain to you how.
Holy
I'll explain to you how.
Dude. All right, man. I will literally explain.
Have
a good day, man.
I'll literally explain
Have a good day, bro. Have a good day. I can't. Have a good day. Thanks for coming, bro. Holy crap, dude. He just proved my point that it's subjective. He thought I was actually arguing from that position. Like, it's so crazy that I flipped the tables. I'm like, okay, let me see if you're going to be consistent and you're going to accept it now. I'm going to use your way of argumentation right now to see if you're going to concede that I'm right. Of course he wasn't going to concede that I'm right because you know what? It's okay for him to do it to me, not okay if I do it to him. Now I'm being inconsistent. I'm being I'm not in good faith. I'm not being honest. I'm being biased. It's all subjective. All of those things are true when I do the same thing he did, but not the other way around. Yeah, makes a lot of sense, guys. Makes a lot of sense. Guys, don't forget to hit my beautiful wife a follow, Peace Apologetics, on TikTok. She's tagged in every one of my videos, so just go to any one of my videos and go ahead and hit her a follow on TikTok. And don't forget to sub to her YouTube as well. She's already over 2,000 followers or subs on YouTube. So thank you guys so much for all your support. She is taking a little break on going live, but being that we got a lot of transitions going on right now, but definitely hit her a follow and show her some support. All right. Sly, I think, or Slee. He's loading in. Hold on. Craziness, man. Crazy. All right. In the meantime, while he's loading in, Logan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Muhammad was definitely a fortune teller. Yeah, he was. He was a fortune teller. It was a sidekick.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah,
what faith are you?
I'm a Christian, but I had a question, right? Because I went up on like a Muslim panel, and I'm not that knowledgeable, but because like I was just letting them know how there was supposed to be this new covenant, right? And then like the church is supposed to be like the new Israel, right? And then he goes to the parable of the tenants. And the question that he asked me was, did the church start before like the whole temple got destroyed? Because the claim in that parable, quote unquote, was that God was gonna punish like the Jays first and then bring about this covenant with the Gentiles.
Yeah. Hey brother, do me a favor, are you on my Discord?
No.
Join my Discord and send me like tag me or at me later today. I have a busy day today, but maybe tonight or something we can hop into VC and I can answer this question and other people can listen to.
Yep.
If that's
Sounds cool.
All right, brother. God bless. All right. Let's see what we got here. Who is next? The trolls. It's insane. What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
All right, cool. Can I ask a question?
What faith are you?
I'm a Muslim.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why is your entire viewership and platform just bashing Islam and our followers?
I just like to debate you guys.
I don't agree with it just being debated.
I don't care.
I've been like an avid watcher of your stuff. You disrespect our followers.
Kev, I don't care what you feel. No offense.
I mean, it's not even about just me. Like, it's just not only me, it's your entire viewership that are Muslim. Like, and not only that, I think that there's a big problem with, you know, the like education system. And I feel like a lot of people should know more about Islam. Even if you don't agree with it, you should
hey, thank
have
you, JJ.
compassion for our
Appreciate it.
followers.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hey man, we're people. I think that we deserve compassion. All this TikTok, ignoring stuff, it's kind of rude, bro. Regardless of what religion it is, even if it's Judaism, Catholicism, Christianity.
I have an HR department where people go and cry and give their complaints to. Do you want me to DM you the information so you can contact them?
Hey man, you can say what you want, bro. I'm not gonna stoop down to your lowly level. If this is what you need to do to
Kev,
bring about your message,
would you like
then
the information?
I just think that you're not very versatile.
Hey, would you like
need to do
would you
this to
like
make
the
yourself feel
HR
better, then
information?
I guess, bro.
All right, bro. So you have to just go cry to HR, brother. Sorry, this is not like a venting place. Like, we're not gonna go over here and give you a hug just because you feel some type of way. You should just stop watching my
That was
stuff.
cold. That was cold, Bear. That was cold.
What's up? What faith are you?
I'm Muslim. Tell me how Islam is illogical. Let's go.
Well, first of all, I don't see how. Oh, I don't know where the. Well, I see my HR guy in here. I don't know. Make sure you guys hit him up. His name was Kev, or my HR president Contriti. You can hit him up. There he is. Make sure you hit him up, man, because he's definitely got some complaints, man. He sounds like he's been watching this stuff for a while.
Are you done?
Yeah, bro. You good, bro? You got somewhere to be?
No, I don't. How is Islam logical?
Not logical. Yeah, it's not. He's not.
Yeah. How is Islam not logical?
How do we verify if Muhammad is consistent with the previous prophets?
If the message is consistent.
How do we verify that?
We look at the message, which is to worship a God.
Look at the
one God.
message. Look at the God. Okay, and then I compare that to what in order to see if it's consistent?
With the previous prophets.
Okay, how do I compare that to the previous prophets? That's like my original question.
Luckily, we have the Quran, which says us what the previous prophets believed in.
Why should I believe what the Quran says?
So the debate will take a shift. You now want me to prove the Quran to you. But I'm talking about logic.
Well, before we do that, yeah, you could do that. But before we do that, do we concede that we don't have any other way to confirm whether he is consistent with the previous prophets?
Do you expect us to go to your books?
I don't know. I'm asking you. How do you verify this other than the Quran? Or is that the only way you verify it?
We verified through the constant theme given to us from the history of each prophet that has lived.
And how do we?
And their message.
Where do we get that information of the history of the previous prophets?
You can look at historical records as well.
What
There's
historical
no problem.
records?
There are historical records.
Really? So where do I go? Do I go to like my city hall? Do I go to my city hall and look up public archives and find what the previous prophet said? Is that where I go?
I don't think you'll find them there, but
Okay.
there are
Where would
historical
I find?
records.
Where would I find them? Where would I find them?
There are historical records, independent.
Guys, no, he's not. He doesn't want to answer this question because he doesn't want to say the Bible. Let's just be very straightforward here. Is that true? You just don't want to say the Bible, right?
Because if I say the Bible, you're going to think that I'm confirming the entirety of the Bible. I'm not confirming the entirety
So
of the Bible.
you are avoiding saying the Bible. So what you're saying is we confirm what the previous prophets say that are consistent with Muhammad with the Bible. Is that true?
Yes. And then you're going to tell me that I'm confirming the whole Bible. I'm not.
No. Okay. So
I'm
you're
not.
not, no, that's fine. You don't confirm the whole Bible. So you're saying that some of the scriptures are consistent, but some are not.
Yes.
Okay. How do you know which parts are true and which parts are not?
That's why we have the Quran, the supreme authority.
Thank you.
Whatever aligns with the Quran.
So
we can
really,
take.
really what it boils down to, without the Quran, there is no way to check. Other than assuming the Quran is true, there is no way to verify whether Muhammad's consistent with the previous prophets or not. Correct?
Yes.
Thank you. So now, and thank you for that concession. Now, notice, guys, this is why Islam is not logical. because it needs to use some sort of circular reasoning in order to prove itself. But I will go ahead in good faith and say, if you can prove the Quran is from God, I'll grant you your argument. So how can you prove to me that the Quran is from God?
So wait 1 second. You said it's not logical. Where's the illogical here?
Circular reasoning is a fallacy.
So it makes it not logical?
Yep.
So change your prompt, and because at the bottom of everything you want proof that the Quran is the word of God, correct, Bear?
No, I'm showing you that it's not going to be logical. You're not going to be able to prove that the Quran is from God. You're going to use another fallacy in order to prove this.
Which fallacy am I going to use?
I'll point it out once you do it.
Once I do it, okay. So external evidence pointing to one author, would that be proof?
No.
No. Prophecies and miracles, would that be proof?
Nope.
Okay, so what exactly do you want?
Something that would tell us that it's definitively from God. Now you can use these things to increase probability if you want. Like I'll grant you, okay, fine. Miracles will increase the probability, but it doesn't eliminate the possibility that it could come from Satan.
Satan?
Mm-hmm.
So Satan wrote a whole book condemning himself?
Wouldn't Satan do something like that in order to make you think he's God?
Okay, is Satan condemned in the Bible as well?
You're not going to answer my question?
Yes, you would. But is Satan condemned in the Bible as well?
So if that's the case, that it's possible, and you agree with me, then the burden of proof is on you to increase the probability that this is from God and not Satan.
Okay. Bear, try to track for 1 second.
I think you need
told
to track.
me that I cannot.
I think you need to track.
I cannot.
The Bible has nothing to do with this. I'm granting you all of this, and I need you to, I need you to verify that the Quran is from God. I don't know what the Bible has something to do with this.
No problem. We'll talk about the Quran. Okay. You want me to prove 100% that the Quran is from God?
No, it doesn't need to be 100%. Just needs to be high probability, or at least or at least a reasonable probability.
Okay. There are websites out there which will detail thousands of miracles. Is that not enough for you?
Nope.
This is not only in the Quran. We also found miracles in the Hadith, in the Sunnah of the Prophet. So that's not enough.
Why couldn't Satan do these things?
Does Satan have knowledge of the foreseen?
If he
does he know who's going to win wars?
If he has inside information, yeah.
What do you mean inside information? He stole it or something? Does he have knowledge of the unseen? Answer me, better.
He has knowledge of things that humans don't know.
Does he have knowledge of the unseen? Does he know what's going to happen in the future?
Well, is he seen?
What? No, he's unseen.
Okay, so of course he has knowledge of the unseen, if that's what you mean.
Does he have knowledge of things that?
So, for example, bro, like there's been people that like, all right, so it doesn't sound like you. Do you live in? You don't live in America, do you?
No.
Okay, but you would at least know this example to understand it, okay? Because I'm sure wherever you come from, there's sports like like football and all that. But like here in America, right, we have like the Italian mafia, right? And in the early 1900s, mid 1900s, the mafia used to be, or they still are, involved in like gambling, okay? And a lot of times, and especially in these big games that people posted a lot of bets, if they had inside information or they had someone compromised, like a baseball player, basketball player, whatever, they would actually force them to do certain things in order to rig the game, in order to win the bets on their favor. Okay? Yes. Nobody knew. For everybody watching the game, they thought this was an honest game going on. They didn't realize people were point shaving or doing things on purpose in order to sway a bet one way or the other. Does that mean now that these people that placed the bet and knew what was going to happen because of inside information, does that mean they have powers from God now?
No.
Okay. So it is possible for a created being to appear as if they know the outcome of the future when really they just have more information than the other people, right?
Okay, and how would this work in this context? So Satan forcing the event to happen, correct?
So does Satan not influence like powerful leaders in your belief or anything like that? Like, is that not possible?
He can influence.
Okay,
he can influence, but can he guarantee events?
So if Satan is influencing one side for its own destruction, can he not predict whether a war is going to be won or not by somebody?
Just he can predict. Example. Can he guarantee? Can he guarantee there?
Yeah, he can guarantee it if he knows it's going to happen. Yeah.
He can guarantee a war to. Then for you, Satan is God if he can guarantee things.
He can guarantee.
Influence.
So wait. So anybody who guarantees something is from God. So when I go to a service and they guarantee me something, are they making God claims when they're making guarantees?
No. Anyone who guarantees something that a human could not possibly know the
We're
definitive
not talking
outcome.
about a human. We're talking about Satan.
Okay, yes, but we're talking about us humans. In order for us to believe in the Quran,
I'm talking, brother, but I'm saying I'm presenting you the possibility that it could come from Satan. Follow along where this is going, bro. Like I'm presenting you that there's a possibility this could have come from Satan. I'm not saying it did. I'm just saying it's possible. So now, if there is a possibility, if you're going to be reasonable and agree with me and say, okay, that is possible, then the burden of proof is on you to now increase the probability of the contrary. However, if you don't want to do that, or if you're going to get nervous or whatever, and you don't know what to say, then you're going to try to just crap on my possibility here, which I don't think you can do reasonably.
Okay, first tell me what can Satan do and what can't Satan do? Because according to you, Satan can guarantee things. I don't believe Satan can guarantee things.
Okay, based on what? How do you know that?
Because only God can guarantee things. Only God can say 100% this is going to happen.
So humans can't guarantee something is going to happen.
You cannot guarantee something 100%. Can you guarantee you're going to wake up tomorrow, bro?
Here, look, I can guarantee thing 100%. I guarantee you that you're going to get dropped in 2 seconds. 1, 2.
Of course.
Boom. I guaranteed it didn't happen. I must be from God. How stupid. People don't think, man. Just people don't think. What's up? What's up?
I didn't mean to request, but sorry, man. God bless.
God bless, brother.
It's Bob.
God bless. What's up?
Good afternoon. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Thank you for having me up. To the previous person you had up, what I don't think he was understanding was that Satan is an eternal being, just like we will be eternally in the hellfire.
Whoa. Pause right there. I'm not going to pick up from the previous conversation. What faith are you?
I'm Christian.
Do you believe in the
I
Trinity?
was trying to. Yes.
Okay, brother. We're not eternal beings. Only God is eternal, brother.
No, I meant you're gonna live forever somewhere, right? You're not gonna. Your soul will live somewhere forever,
okay,
right?
Brother.
I don't mean eternal.
All right, bro. Thanks for coming up, man. Appreciate it. Crap, dude. Insanity. All right. Thank you guys. I got another super chat. McCain, thank you so much for the super chat. Victim card, Visa card. Exactly. That was probably for a Kev who needs to go talk to the HR guy. So definitely Kev. You need to go hit up Contrite, who is the HR president for Bear the Image. He'll be happy to take your request. And Clyde, thank you so much. I predicted Knicks will sweep the Cavs. Divine revelation. Dear brother, you must be a prophet. You must be a prophet. And I appreciate your prophetic miracles because I wanted the Knicks to sweep the Cavs. So W Knicks in the chat for going to the NBA Finals. Very, very excited. And I will be in that New York area while they're competing for a championship. Let's go, man. By the way, the last time the Knicks went to the finals, it was I watched every game of that season, and I was living in Jersey at the time, and I will be in Jersey when they go back to the finals. So super excited. What's up?
Yo.
What's up?
I saw your prompt. Islam is not logical. I don't really care about Judaism. So what is not logical within Islam?
Muhammad, or at least in your belief, you believe that Muhammad is consistent with the previous prophets, but you can't verify that.
In what sense do you refer to consistency? Because, like, for example, if we're talking about consistency, like, I would claim, at least, that Muhammad is in line with the belief prior to or at least a concept of God prior to Second Temple Christianity and Judeo Christians, right? And it'd be in line with the Basilides and the Ebionites. But the actual outlier would be your
Wait.
Trinitarian
Stop
belief.
right there. Hold on. You believe that the Gnostics are consistent with your belief?
I believe prior to, again, Jesus, not just the Gnostics exist prior to Jesus.
The Gnostics weren't prior to Jesus, especially like the Ebionites and their belief.
Oh yeah, the Ebionites, yeah. For example, like a lot
Or
of what the Roman
but
Empire
Basilides,
pushed.
as you mentioned too, right?
Yeah, the Basilides and their concept of God. And we're simply talking about the concept of God. I mean, you can bring like Catholic Church fathers saying they rejected the virgin birth or so on. I wouldn't take that as an evidence.
So
because we
how
do
do you know
have
what they
evidence.
believe then?
Yeah, no issue. Yeah, we have evidence from, like, for example, first century manuscripts. Not only that, for example,
What
here, let me
manuscripts
put it
of the
up.
Ebionites?
Yeah, I'm about to bring it as well.
Okay.
Another history book. He brings evidence.
This is off topic, but I'm just curious on why you're even bringing these people up, because they're not. They
no,
don't
because then
believe
it's
this.
gonna be because
You wouldn't call them Muslims, right?
again, you said our concept of God or Islam, because we claim to have a concept of God
I
in
didn't
line
mention
with the
anything
previous
about a
book.
concept with God. You brought that up, not me.
No, that's what we claim to have in line. That's the point. That's
With
the
the
argument
previous
of
prophets?
continuity. Yeah, yes.
I'm talking about like Moses. Was Moses a Muslim?
Yeah, Ahodi was a proto-Muslim, meaning he believed in one God, right? And he would have generally affirmed the 6 pillars of Iman.
Proto-Muslim would be like the first, right? Or original.
No, a proto-Muslim would be someone who generally affirms the 6 pillars of Iman and believes in one God.
So not all of it, just generally?
Because again, when the concept itself, for example, the reason I say generally is because the way it's explained in our books may be different to a previous Sharia. Because again, it's not the same language and it's not going to be the same people.
Okay,
but
the
okay,
that's
one
fine.
God.
That's fine. But I'm talking about like the theology. Is the theology going to
Yeah,
be
the
consistent?
theology. Yeah, the theology of one God would be consistent, and I'd be basing that off the rabbinic text.
Theology is not just saying one God. You know, there's more to it, right? Because
No, I agree. I agree.
Okay. All right. Just making sure that we're not just like saying one God and that's it. Because there's
I'm
fake
just
religions.
highlighting
There's
it.
religions that you and I, as a Christian and a Muslim, would agree is a false religion, and they believe in one God, right? So there's
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a
For
bunch of holes.
example,
Okay, so
for
one
example,
God wouldn't be
Buddhism.
enough, right? But so I guess my question would be: is there a way to verify what Moses taught in order to see this whatever you claim is consistent with Muhammad? Is there a way to look into that
Within the Islamic paradigm or within a general paradigm?
I'm talking about right now. We're using epistemology right now. So you're talking to somebody who is not yet believing in your belief. So how would I verify? How would you help me verify this question that I have?
Yeah, no issue. Yeah, firstly, I would appeal to, for example, Jewish rabbis like Abraham ibn Ezra, right? Because at the end of the day, a Christian can read the Torah and ad hoc read within the Old Testament. But if we're really going to critique what Moses believed, we're going to go and attach what belief system the rabbis and how they understood it prior
Why
to.
Why would we appeal to rabbis? They reject the Torah.
No, not necessarily, because Jesus says not to follow the actions of the Pharisees, but to follow what they preach.
Look, you see what my screen says? It says Judaism rejects the Torah. They reject the Torah. Why the hell would I take their interpretations of the Torah?
Again, because we're going to be discussing what Moses believed, and objectively, if we're going to critique what Moses believed
But
outside of it,
the Torah is provided by Moses. They reject what Moses teaches.
If you're going to be referring to the events that happened during the time of Moses, yes, for example, the worshipping of the calf and so on.
No, bro. I'm talking about these rabbis. They reject, like, for example, like the Torah gives a solid prediction with a reasonable time frame as to when the Messiah would come. They reject that. You accept that as a Muslim.
I mean, me personally, in my belief system, they don't have justification to unalive the Messiah. But according to your belief system, they had justification.
No, brother, you're off topic. I'm not talking about unaliving the Messiah. I'm talking about I'm talking about them believing, because these rabbis you're referring to are post-Christianity, right?
No,
right?
prior. No, I was appealing to prior to Christianity.
Which rabbis were you appealing to?
Abraham ibn Ezra, he usually quotes,
What
for
century is he from?
example, he's 11th century, but he usually appeals to prior to
Brother,
Christianity.
so
Jewish
you
rabbis.
do appeal to rabbis that are post Christianity.
Yeah, but they're gonna bring primary sources.
Why
That's the
would
point. He's a historian.
brother, why would I accept what they say to be true if someone like Ibn Ezra rejects the Torah, rejects the Messiah?
Because again, he's not rejecting the Torah because he'll be quoting rabbis prior
he
to.
may not believe he's rejecting the Torah, but you and I would agree he is, because the Torah properly predicts that Jesus is the Messiah. Would you agree with that?
Okay. No, I wouldn't actually.
You would not agree that Jesus is properly is prophesied.
Your concept of Jesus, no. Your concept of Jesus, no. The one, if Jesus preaches a
forget my concept of Jesus. There's a timeline as to which the Messiah would come, and you would agree the Messiah came. You would agree the Messiah came in the 1st century, right?
Yeah, no issue.
Okay, all right. Now whether how you view the Messiah or not, that's a completely different topic. I agree with you on that. We wouldn't agree on those things, but you would at least agree with me that the Messiah came in the 1st century, correct?
That's fine. But I need to steal my list.
Hold on. The Torah predicts these things, and they reject it because they don't believe the Messiah came yet.
Yeah, I agree, and I can again. Can I clarify why?
Why they reject it? So you're going to argue so you're going to argue in their favor?
Based on your belief, yes. I can argue against a Jew for my Messiah, but you believe Jesus preached a triune God, yes, and that he was a son of God, and also God. According to Deuteronomy 13, any prophet or warner that comes to them preaching a God that they do not know, and the Jews never knew of a co-equal, co-eternal son of God or triune God, they are to stone him and unalive him, right? So they had very strong basis to unalive Jesus within your paradigm.
How do you know?
So
how do you know the Torah doesn't teach these things? Have you studied the Torah?
Yeah, no issue. Because what God is appealing to here isn't the Torah itself, because it says God's
have you studied the Torah?
Yeah, okay, yes, I have. But the Torah isn't what's in question. It's what the Jews It's what the Jews know.
How did you study the Torah?
I studied it in my own time, and I come from an Arab Jewish tribe.
Okay. Did you go and study under a rabbi?
No. I studied under myself, and I cross-examined.
That's
with,
not studying the Torah then. That's not studying the Torah. The Torah needs to be studied under a teacher.
Not necessarily. For example,
what do you mean not necessarily? Even Ibn Ezra would disagree with you on that.
Ibn Ezra didn't have a major teacher. He had chain of narration, but he didn't have a major teacher.
So he was just born and just understood Torah?
No, it's called studying it and reading from the early rabbinic works and the Talmud.
And you think and that would be, and you don't think he had a rabbi he was under?
Not for the majority of his life, no. A very short period of time he did.
How do you know this?
Yeah, because Abraham ibn Ezra has a massive biography. He's a medieval Jewish rabbi.
Let's see.
Would a layman, because I come from an Arab Jewish tribe, it's not hard to get my hands on rabbinic works in both Arabic and Hebrew.
That still doesn't mean it. You don't read the Torah on your own and just assume.
No, that's it's not like I read it with, like, again, we don't consider rabbis within like the Arab Jewish tribes. There are people who studied in the Torah, but we don't call them rabbis. We still use the same Arabic word, sheikh. Sheikh just means someone knowledgeable or someone older than you, not sheikh in the like Islamic sense. Although I am a Muslim, just to clarify.
Okay, there's a lot for me to read. I don't know much about his history, but whatever. I just wanted to look up and see if there was something specific I could find quickly. But
no worry, that's fine. That's aside the question.
I know it's a sidebar, but anyways, nonetheless, progressing the conversation. You studied the Torah on your own, and how do you know that what you
not just
studied,
on my own? I said I didn't study with a rabbi. We don't consider, like, we have people in our, like, I'm an Arab Jew. It's a bit different. We call them sheikhs, not like the Islamic kind of thing. But yeah, someone studied in the Torah. I studied with him, sure. But we have a different oral. Yes, he is. I'm not, but he is.
Okay, and
He's from Banu Kharzad.
Okay, so you're making this claim that you did study the Torah. Okay, so if you studied
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Torah,
yeah, yeah.
then I do have some questions for you. Then let's see.
No worries. Go ahead.
Okay, so you don't believe that the Torah talks about a multi-personal God?
Not according to the understanding of the Jews. No,
Yeah, that's
like if you're
that's what I'm going into is an understanding of this.
like the majority, the general consensus. There are some Jewish rabbis that did believe in two powers in heaven, right? But that's a very weak opinion within the Jewish faith. The Abraham story, right?
Yep. The angel. Well, no, not the Abraham story. Jacob and the angel. Can you
Oh,
can you
Jacob,
see
sorry,
that?
I thought you
Can
were
you see that?
referring-
Okay, or is that blurry?
It's a bit blurry, but the angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob,
Hold on.
and
I'm
I
gonna
said,
make it better. Hold on. I'm gonna make it better. 1 second. Did that get better on the screen or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lift up your eyes and see all the goats that mate with the flock are stripped, spotted, molted. For I've seen all of Laban is doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar and made a vow to me. Now arise and go out from this land and return to the land of your kindred.
Okay. So the angel is speaking here, correct?
Yeah.
Can an angel claim to be the God of Bethel? And by the way, you speak Hebrew? You speak Hebrew?
Yeah.
What does this word mean?
Bethel it's gonna be referring to the land, right?
No,
And
what does that word mean in Hebrew?
What do you mean Bethel? What does it mean in Hebrew?
I thought you spoke Hebrew.
No, I read it. I'm not
Okay.
fluent in Hebrew. My main language is Arabic.
So you read it, but you don't understand it?
Yeah. I mean, I can pull it up for you unless you can translate it.
Okay.
Because I am the God. I know. I've read this verse
Bethel means
before.
house of
This
God.
is-
Bethel means house of God.
Okay, but it's referring to I am Elohim. The word God there isn't referring to Yahweh.
Okay. So do you agree that the angel is the God of the house of God?
I believe the angel is just the same way, right? That is God, as Moses was God, right? Or labeled as God.
That's not what I asked. Do you believe
I'm
the
saying
angel?
that.
Do you believe the angel is the God of the house of God?
Yeah, no issue. Because the angel of God,
The angel
he
of God.
substantiates God's voice for him.
Is that consistent that an angel with Islamic theology, is that consistent that an angel can be the God of the house of God?
Not within Islamic theology, right? Okay. But what I'm saying, if I'm critiquing this from the Jewish understanding, simply put, I'm gonna liken this to Exodus, was it 3:1 or 2:1, where the angel of the Lord comes and God speaks through the angel of the Lord, right? Because it claims to be
agency.
God.
So you're saying agency.
Agency.
Okay,
yes.
good.
It's gonna be divine agency.
Good, and that's where I was hoping you were going to go. So here, I want to read a law real quick. You do agree that the law, according to the Torah, has to be consistent all the way through, correct?
Within 5 books of Moses, yeah.
Okay. So Exodus 22:20, all right, says that whoever sacrifices to any god other than Yahweh alone shall be devoted to destruction. Okay? You no problem with that, correct? You believe that's consistent throughout the whole Torah.
Well, do you mean by action or by belief?
Both.
Okay, I don't believe actions of humans are consistent. No, I believe the belief is consistent. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the Torah, dude. Like you cannot sacrifice.
Yeah, the Torah. If you're talking about the law,
like God is going to be consistent here. He is going to say you cannot sacrifice to any god other than Yahweh, right?
Within, sure. Other than obviously, if a divine agency says to sacrifice.
Okay, good. Now sacrifices are done on an altar, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
There are multiple ways, but sure.
Okay. All right. So here, God said to Jacob, arise and go up to Bethel. That's the same place in Genesis 31, and dwell there, and make an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau. Who is the one that appeared to him in Genesis 31?
The angel of the Lord, like divine agency.
Good. Is God telling him to make an altar to the angel?
Sure, yeah, the divine agency.
Is this a violation of Exodus 22:20?
Not necessarily, because
How?
again, it's still, yeah, if God's going to be speaking through this angel the same way if God was speaking through the burning bush, i.e., the angel of the Lord, right?
He didn't say
Then
making a sacrifice to me through the angel. He said make an altar to the God who
yeah,
appeared to you.
but it's
So you're adding words
yeah,
into this. He's
yeah,
very specific here. It says make an altar to
the
the God.
God, the Elohim is referring to here is going to be the divine agent. Yeah,
Yes. So he doesn't say making a sacrifice to me. Does he say that?
yeah, because again, he is the divine agent speaking through
Does
the
he
divine agent, so
does
it wouldn't be
he
a contradiction.
does he say that? Does he say make a sacrifice to me?
He doesn't need to, because within the context, we're gonna understand that and infer that from the basic. Even if you go to, for
No.
example,
The
like Rashi's exegete.
No. Stop right there, because now this is becoming circular. The inference that the thing that you're trying to infer, that's the thing that's in question. You can't just say, well,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
an
go
internal
ahead,
critique.
an internal critique of my book. Yes, exactly. So
An
when
internal
when
critique
we're
of the
going,
Torah. That's not your book.
it is our book. What are you talking about? So now when we're going into this, when we see that it says make an altar to the God, it doesn't say to me, it says to the God. And you agree that this is referring to the angel. Is this a violation of Exodus 22:20?
No, again, because it's going to be
No.
referring to the
Uh-huh.
divine agent.
The divine
Right?
agent. So
It's-
divine agents can receive sacrifices.
Yeah, because it's going to be giving it to the God.
So, okay.
And again, in the
Yeah.
end.
So is the divine agent another God?
No, it's going to be substantiation of God
What?
speaking through
So
X,
is he
Y,
the
Z, or
same
doing
God?
action.
Wait. Is he the same God?
Again, when it comes to the agency, yes. If you're talking about physically,
So the divine,
no, because
the
God
divine
just
agent is
has
the
agents.
same God as God?
Yes, meaning God is speaking through him. That's why I said I am the
So
God
they're the
of
same
Bethel.
God. So then there's the same God.
Yeah, sure. If you're talking about agency,
So there's
meaning
a
the agent
distinction.
speaking,
There's a distinction between
Yeah.
the agent and God, right?
there's a distinction
between
between
the one that's sent and the one that it was sending, the one that was being sent, right? The one that is being sent, sending someone, and the one that is being sent. There's a
distinction
between
physically,
the two.
sure.
Yeah, distinction. But there's
Same
no
way if
there's no distinction as far as them being God.
Yeah, sure. Because again, for example, if you're speaking through your phone and you leave it X place, there's no
Chad,
distinction.
he doesn't even
between
realize
you.
what he just conceded to. So you just conceded to a distinction of persons and one God.
No, because I don't believe it's a different person. The same way, if you're speaking through
You
a
don't
phone,
believe? Wait. So
doesn't
you
mean you're
believe
two.
this is the same person, the agent?
Yeah, the person speaking, because divine agency within Judaism works in a certain way where you can
Holy
liken
crap,
it to
dude.
a phone.
Listen,
If
this
you
is
speak
like
through a
this is
phone,
desperate. This is like that. Get out of here, bro. This is like desperation. Holy crap! He just like, in order to try to explain his silliness, he just explained what the Torah teaches in a multi-personal God. He said they're the same God, but there's a distinction between the two. I mean, like, like, what the hell, dude? Oh my God, dude. Craziness. Guys, if you guys missed it, the other night it was my wife's birthday 2 days ago, and we did a night stream, a birthday stream for my beautiful, amazing wife. Make sure you go show some love to that video, to that live. Go watch it, go like the live, go do whatever. We had an amazing time. We reacted to a video at the end, got to know my wife a little bit more because she has some future content in the future coming. It's going to take some time for us to build up towards it, but it is coming very soon. With everything that we got going on, it's a crazy hectic schedule that we have, but make sure you go show her some love. Hit her a follow on TikTok, hit her a sub on YouTube. Really appreciate you guys showing some love the other day for her birthday, and just wanted to celebrate her because she has been the backbone of this content and what I'm doing and helping me with the creative side of things. So really appreciate you guys showing her some love. So keep showing her some love. Go follow her. She's tagged in every one of my videos, and make sure you hit her a sub on YouTube as well.
Yo, what's up?
What's up?
So I have a question for you. You're Orthodox, right?
Are you Catholic?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm inquiring Orthodoxy and Catholicism.
Okay. Can you join my Discord and ask the question there?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Thanks, bro. All right. Let's see. Who's next? What's up?
What up, Bear?
What's up?
This Eli, bro. How are you?
What's up?
Yo, W Trinity, bro. That guy just confessed to everything.
Thank you, bro. God bless you, Habibi.
Habibi, yalla, keep doing it.
Thank you, Habibi. God bless you. God bless you. Why is my thing popping up like that? Oh, there we go. The diary. What's up?
Hey, man. First of all, man, I want to say God bless you for the work that you're doing, man. It's been an inspiration watching you do your thing. And it has inspired me to also look into my Bible and study the Quran as well. But I wanted to ask you a question while I'm talking to my Muslim friend. How do I land the point of when Muhammad was bewitched by his by this lady, and just kind of try to prove the point that if this man is bewitched by the devil, how could I trust any message that ever come out of his mouth if he's being witched and that's coming directly from the hadith and your Islamic source? How do I land that point?
Yeah, I don't really bring this argument a lot, so I wouldn't be an expert of knowing how to. But I know that I believe there's like a verse in the Quran that would say that a prophet is protected by being bewitched or something to that effect. I could be off on that, and that's usually that's how they present the argument. That if that is true in the Quran, then this couldn't have happened to him, and if it did, then that would mean we have reason to believe he's a false prophet just based off of your own book.
Yeah, and then last question: why do all Muslims, when you present them an argument, they refer to the Bible, but they don't believe in the Bible? Like let's say, you bring up any argument that you can present to a Muslim, they will use the Bible to justify their position when you're trying to. But when it's time for a Christian to answer the same question, they don't accept the Bible.
Yeah, because their whole epistemology is just fallacious. Every people that become Muslim, they become Muslim off of just pure emotions. Like they don't understand the Bible. They read something in the Bible that made them feel some type of way, and Islam helped them cope with it, and that's why they do it. So they don't really have a consistent foundation of truth when it comes to their religion. When you start asking the questions and go deeper and deeper, you'll start to see that it's holes. I mean, like if you're watching my live today, like just asking like how do we verify if they're good with the previous prophets, if Muhammad's good with the previous prophets, then it starts turning into a problem. They start getting upset, agitated. They don't really have an answer. That's why. It's just like it's stupid.
Yeah, it's very stupid because when they're asking Christian to prove our point, they don't get mad at disrespecting our faith. But when we question their faith, they start getting emotional. But yeah, thank you for answering my question, and God bless you.
All right, bro. God bless. Yeah. Are you Coptic or just Orthodox? I'm Eastern Orthodox. So not Coptic would be Oriental Orthodox. What's the difference? There was a schism that happened in the 5th century in Chalcedon. I think it's the 5th century. That caused a split on the view of the nature of Christ, whether Christ had 2 natures or if it was just one nature. So that's what caused the difference. Other than that, and a couple other things, but the majority of what Oriental Orthodox and Eastern Orthodox do traditionally and believe in is going to be very consistent. So we do have a high view, high Christology. We both have high Christology, high Mariology, high ecclesiology, high view of the sacraments. We're all going to agree on those things. We're not sola scriptura. You could lose your salvation. They have to concede that there's no way to verify continuity with past prophets besides the Quran. Yes, that's exactly right, Mark. That's why I bring up, like when I ask that question, how do we verify it? That's what it would ultimately have to be. The only way you can actually try to stay consistent is by somehow proving that the Quran is from God, but you see how that goes, right? So.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, so the prompt says Islam is not logical, but I think that actually is the case with Christianity, because in your own Bible, Jesus never explicitly says, "I am God" or "worship me."
He says he does claim to be God.
Can you show me? I mean an explicit like place where he says,
Yeah,
"I
it's
am
explicit. Yeah, it's explicit.
God." Yeah, can you show me?
Yeah. And by the way, if I show this to you in the Bible, what are you going to say?
There isn't a verse, so like it doesn't matter.
But if I do show you the verse, then what? What does that prove?
But there isn't.
What would that prove? I don't think I would be proving to you that the Bible is true at that point. Am I right? You would just deny it. You would just say, even if I showed you this verse, you would just say, yeah, it doesn't matter because I don't believe it. Right?
No, but I've done my research. It doesn't exist. I'm
Okay,
asking
I got
for
you. I know you're
specific
confident.
verses.
I know you're confident that it doesn't exist, right? But if I did show it to you, it doesn't prove anything, does it?
All right, can you just pull up the verse?
Right? Am I right? So you're asking me to pull up this verse is going to be a complete waste of time, right?
No, let's see them.
Okay. If you're honest, this is going to be a waste of time. But here it is. When I saw him, I fell at his feet as though dead, but he laid his right hand on me, saying, "Fear not, I am the first and the last. And the living one, I died, and behold, I'm alive forevermore, and I have the keys of death and Hades." Now, you're going to say, "I am the first and the last" is not explicit, but I'm going to prove to you that it is.
Okay.
Okay? So am I right? That's what you're going to say? This is not explicit?
Yes, no.
Okay, good. I want demonstrate it for me, and I will concede, and I will tell you you're 100% right. I couldn't find the verse. You need to, in order for me to do that and say that, you would need to say, how do you say your name? Zid or Zid? How do you say your name?
No, just explain it.
How do you say your name?
Just Zid.
Okay. So you would need to state your name, say, "I, Zid, am the first and the last." Go ahead.
No, I'm not. Just explain the
Say
verse.
it. No, say that, and I will concede I didn't find the verse. Say, "I am the first and the last." Go ahead.
Because I've seen this. Wait, let me explain. I've seen this verse.
Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor?
Else.
Yeah. You can waffle around all you want about the verse. I will concede and say you win the debate if you say, "I, Zid, am the first and the last." Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say that.
Why not? Why wouldn't you say something like that if it's not explicitly calling yourself God?
It's talking about something else. It's not about him.
If it's talking about something else, if it's talking about something else, why wouldn't you be able to say it then?
Because that was for a specific thing. This is
if
like
it's
a
for,
general
listen, brother, if it's for a specific thing, if "I am the first and the last" does not mean I am God, then you can say it. You can say, "I am the first and the last."
All right, listen. If
Hello, I mean, are
if
you gonna,
Jesus,
I don't want to hear an explanation or what you think it is. I'll grant it all to you that it doesn't mean I am God. I will believe you if I hear you say, "I, Zid, am the first and the last." Go ahead and say it.
I'm not saying that.
Why not?
Because I'm not.
Would you be committing shirk if you did?
Yeah.
Thank you. So then you now just conceded that this does mean you are God, because shirk would be associating partners with God. You would be making yourself equal to God if you claim to be the first and the last. Therefore, if Jesus said those words right there, then he is claiming to be God. You just proved my point.
No, but it was
now that you
talking about
conceded to
something
that,
else.
now that you conceded to that, do you believe those words in that book that Jesus claimed to be God? Do you believe that?
No, he didn't, because he didn't say that he was.
All right, brother.
It was something else.
Get lost, bro. Get lost. Complete waste of time, just like I saw. Complete waste of time. Craziness.
What's up, bear?
What's up?
How you doing, boy?
What's up? What do you want?
I'm asking how you doing, bro.
Doing good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. All praise due to the one true God. So I saw that you were telling this guy that saying that the first and the last is shirk, etc., etc.
Can you claim to be the first and the last?
So if 1 second, let me just finish. So if one
Can you
commits
claim?
shirk,
Can you
does that?
Can you claim
Oh,
to
I
be the
can't.
first
I
and the
can't
last?
speak.
Can you
Can I
claim to be?
already?
Can
Can I
you?
already not
Can you
speak?
claim to be the first and the last? I'll concede.
Why do
I'll
you
say.
not let
I'll
me
say.
speak?
If you want to pick up from the last
I will
conversation,
respond to you if you
I'll
let me.
concede.
If you.
If you, I don't want. I don't
Bear
want.
the
You don't
image.
need to waffle on this one. If you just
This
concede,
is so
if you
bad.
just say I am the first and last, I'll concede. Can you say I
5
am the first and
seconds
last?
I've been up and you've already. Yo, can I speak now?
Yes,
Thank you.
if
So
you
as
can
I was
just
saying,
I will you don't need to
my
waffle and
lord.
explain any of this stuff. All you gotta
Yeah,
do is claim to
if
be the
I
first
can,
and
if
last
I
and I'll
can
concede.
finish like 30 seconds,
All
you
you
just
have to
interrupted me.
do, you can save the you can
This
save the
is
30
getting clipped there.
seconds.
This is not
You can
looking good, bro.
save the 30
Just like the last time when
seconds.
you can see that
Just
Jesus was created. So
right.
can I not
Okay.
speak?
Yeah. Anyways, just like you said, this is
Anyways,
gonna
can I
take 30
speak?
seconds. All you have to do is claim to be the first and
All
the
you have to
last.
do is let me finish, bro.
All right, brother. Come back up and claim to be the first and last, and you can come back up. And I'll concede. I'll concede that topic. If you're not going to do that, then kick rocks. Not really care. Don't really care. So come back up, say I am the first and last, and I will concede. So
How do you panic in 2 seconds?
are you going to say it or no?
If you let me finish, I will respond to you.
And
However, you don't
you
even
will
let
say
me.
it?
You
And
don't even
and
let
you
me.
will say it?
You don't even let me respond.
And
No,
if I
I
let you
won't.
respond,
Can I not
why won't you
speak?
say it?
After I've done
Why
explaining, I will
won't you say
respond to
it?
whatever you
Why
say.
won't you
Yeah.
say
So
those
can I
words?
respond?
Why won't you say
Can I
those
respond?
words?
Oh,
Why
this
won't
is
you
so
say
bad.
those words? Answer the question.
Bear, I know that you need to speak through me because you.
Get out of here, bro. Waste of time. So notice, guys, this is the deception that happens. It's like, no, I'm not going to say those words, but he doesn't want to tell me why. And if I let him just go on a waffle, he's gonna waffle around on like, well, I don't need to say this because of that. He's gonna go waffling all around. But really, the question is why? Why won't you say I am the first and last? What's the logical explanation for that? Why? If you say it, I'll concede that these words are not explicit. I'll concede. Exactly. Guys, he thinks we're dumb. Like we know you know it's shirk. And even though you came up here saying, well, to try to give some sort of explanation of how it's not shirk, brother, I don't care about any of your explanations of how it's not shirk. You got to prove it to me. I'll believe you in your explanation that it's not shirk if you say I am the first and the last. Say your name and then say I am the first. Then I'll believe you. I'll take it. Okay, fine. It wasn't shirk. I'll take it. Let's see if he's gonna say
So
it, guys.
you finally gonna let me speak out? I'm giving you 3 times, and I will respond. I will. You just need to let me finish. So yeah, saying I am the first and the last is shirk. Just like saying I'm the Lord is shirk. Just like calling someone Lord is shirk. All of these things are shirk. However, that does not mean that you're equivocating yourself to God, because if you can say that committing shirk Islamically means that you're God in the Bible, that would therefore mean that Abraham is God because he's called Lord. That would therefore mean that Moses is called God because he's the Lord. That would therefore mean that who else? Ezekiel is God because he's called the Son of Man. Exactly. That was the point that I was trying to reference, Bill.
Yeah. So is there anybody else called the first and the last?
My Lord. Is there anyone else called the first and last? No. That's a specific title for Jesus. What's the problem?
Specific title for God.
Okay. Is there anyone else called the morning star?
So
And
if I
Jesus?
call myself Allah, Allah, am I calling myself equal to God?
Why are you not responding to what I just asked you?
Because that's irrelevant.
I said, is anyone else called the morning star?
I'm only talking about first and the last.
And that's what I thought, because only Satan is called the morning star.
No.
So what does that mean?
Incorrect. That's not true.
Okay, who else is called morning star?
Yeah, we'll talk about morning star after we're done with first and the last.
No,
If there's
talk about it right now.
See, and chat, and this is what they have to do. They got to play games and listen to the demonic laugh. This is literally like if you guys read the saints, right, and read the monks on like demons, on how demons interact with Christians and stuff, like just like go read stuff about monks and spiritual warfare and stuff like that. This is literally how they would describe, literally the twisting of the words, the laughing, the playing games. Let's move to another topic of the morning star. Well, isn't Jesus called the morning star, just like Satan, right? This is the games that need to be played. Instead of answering the question directly, he did. He said the first and last is only for God. But remember what he said before that. He said, well, just because you're called, like, he used the example for Lord. Lord, other people are called Lord. Therefore, if you call yourself Lord, that doesn't necessarily mean you're making yourself equal to God. That's what he said. But if the name is only to God and you're claiming to be that name, you're making yourself equal to God. Literally, you're making yourself equal to God. But he didn't want to have to address that tension that he brought with his argument. What he had to do was switch the topic. And then the demonic laugh is just like telling. Like, this is literally how they sound, dude. It's like, this is why, like, honestly, guys, like, I go to liturgy. When I light a candle and I pray for every one of these guys. Seriously. Like, and if there's anybody, like, I literally pray for the Dawa guys. I pray for these people, like, Lord have mercy on their soul. Because there's a demonic influence that's going on with these people. And they're participating in it, thinking they're participating in the I don't know, the to being zealous towards God. They think they're doing something that's advancing the kingdom of God, but they're deceived. It's craziness. It's craziness, man. It really is. Anyways, I am the first and the last. He won't say it, but it's not shirk. He won't say it, but it's not shirk. Or no, it is shirk, but it doesn't mean I'm making myself equal to God. What is shirk in Islam? Let's see. All right. Is the Arabic term in Islam that translates to association or partnership. It refers to do sin of idolatry, polytheism, or ascribing any of God's divine attributes to another being or object. It is considered the gravest cardinal sin in Islam and directly violates the belief of absolute oneness of God. Oof. So we're attributing an attribute towards God, which I believe the first and the last is one of his 99 names. So these are, and the 99 names are attributes of God. So the attributes of God are being attributed. Thank you guys for all that, for the gifts. An attribute of God, you're attributing it to yourself. Yeah, Quran 57, chapter 57, verse 3. Yeah. Insane. But it's not, but it doesn't mean you're making yourself equal to God to commit shirk, guys. Okay. Right, good one. Good one. All right, guys, I got time. I don't got time. Shoot, I just ran out of time. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I got a busy work schedule today. Whenever there's a holiday, it gets crazy on Tuesdays. Thank you everybody who supported here. 39,000 likes. We're a little low on the likes, but we hit good numbers overall on the views. Thank you guys so much. W Frostbite in the chat for your gifts. I don't know if I gave you a money gun, Frostbite. If I didn't, I apologize. I'll do that for you. I gotta upload the new Money Gun song, man. If I have time tonight, I'll do it tonight. But thank you guys. Thank you everybody who gave gifts. Thank you for everybody who gave super chats. We had another great month. Really appreciate all your guys' support. Guys, do me a favor, go and hit my wife a follow on Peace Apologetics on TikTok. Make sure you hit her a sub on the YouTube as well. Appreciate everybody who came and supported. We'll be back on again tomorrow. Best Morning Live on TikTok. Love you guys. God bless every single one of you guys. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, now and forever, to the ages of ages. Amen. God bless.